Plot points aren't just characters moving from A to B to C. Plot is all about conflict. But what is conflict? It's not just characters throwing punches or blowing up buildings. It's the secret engine that reveals who people are when the pressure hits and something has to give. Most people picture hero versus villain, good versus evil, one winner, one loser. But the conflicts that stick are value versus value, two good things colliding in a moment that changes what comes next. Think about it like this. Plot equals conflict, which equals choice. And every real choice has a price. If it doesn't cost your character something, it won't matter to your audience. Now let's tie that to character in the simplest way possible. Want, obstacle, tactic. That's the spine. First, your character needs a crystal clear want. Not a vibe, not a destiny, a clear objective that the audience can understand. In Weapons, after Justine Gandy's entire class disappears at 2:17 a.m., she wants to speak to Alex, the one boy who didn't disappear, because he might know something about the missing kids. Her want is immediate, something we can clearly follow. Next, you need an obstacle that stands in your character's way. Justine gets put on leave and told to keep her distance. She's a lightning rod in town, and everyone's looking for someone to blame for the missing children. That means even trying to speak to Alex could blow back hard. And finally, your character must have a tactic to get what they want. In Justine's case, she tails Alex's bus, watches where he gets off, goes to the house, rings the bell, and when no one answers, she peeks through a gap in the newspapered windows and sees his parents sitting upright, eerily still. And at that point, the consequences hit fast. Suddenly, Justine's life is in danger, leading to even tougher choices. That's your loop. Choice, consequence, harder choice. That's where character lives. Because the most compelling characters aren't flawless heroes. They're morally ambiguous humans who make messy choices when the stakes are high. And those choices generate conversation, because audiences lean in when values collide and nobody's hands are clean. In The Dark Knight, Batman faces a binary choice that isn't binary at all. 2 hostages, 2 addresses, 2 bombs, 1 rescue. What Batman wants is to save Rachel, the person that Bruce loves. His obstacle? The Joker controls the board and the clock. His tactic? Split-second decision and full-tilt commitment. Batman races to Rachel's location, but the Joker has swapped the addresses. And instead of finding the woman he loves, Batman finds Harvey Dent. Rachel dies, Harvey lives, Bruce Wayne is shattered. And that single choice, driven by a want we understand, detonates the rest of the story. Grief crushes Bruce. Gotham loses its moral center. Harvey becomes Two-Face. Every character now carries a new obstacle born from that moment. Choice, consequence, harder choice. That's the loop. Run it scene after scene and your narrative starts pulling itself forward. Here's how to build that same engine in your script. Open every scene by clarifying to yourself what each character wants. They need the promotion. They need the confession. They need to get their daughter to school on time. Then make the obstacle visible and immediate. A rival at work, a criminal who refuses to talk, a traffic jam. If it can be sidestepped with a phone call, break the phone. If it can be solved by expertise, put the expert on a plane. Now demand a tactic on camera. Not they decide later, not meanwhile off screen. Show them lying to get the promotion, or threatening the criminal by going after his family, or driving down side streets to beat the traffic. You can scale this from epic to tiny and it still works. And when you tie tactics to consequences, you get narrative momentum that takes hold of the audience. In Spider-Man, the Green Goblin forces Peter to choose between Mary Jane and a tramcar full of kids. His want is to save the people he loves and the innocents he's sworn to protect. But his obstacle is that he has to choose between 2 falling catastrophes with only seconds to act. His tactic? Refuse the binary choice, improvise under pressure, and attempt both rescues at once. He barely pulls it off, and you'd think that's a win, but only short term. He's made things much worse for himself now. The target on his loved ones grows, and Peter's next choices get sharper and crueler. In The Empire Strikes Back, Luke wants to become a Jedi. His obstacle? His friends are in mortal danger before his training is complete. And his tactic is to abandon his training to save them. In consequence, Luke Skywalker loses the duel with Darth Vader, he loses his hand, and he learns a truth that completely tears him apart, making for one of the greatest moments in movie history. Luke's choice to leave his training didn't end the conflict, it deepened it and reset the stakes for everything that followed. Notice the pattern: specific want, tough obstacle, committed tactic, visible consequence. And make sure to make your choices asymmetrical. No perfect options, no clean wins. One path protects a value now but poisons it later, like in Spider-Man. The other path wounds now but preserves something essential to the characters long term, like Luke's relationship to his father. And always remember the micro scale. Line by line, your character is choosing tactics in dialogue. Do they dodge or admit, comfort or confront, ask for help or fake control? Pepper those micro choices throughout the scene so that the macro choices land with weight. Do that enough times and your story will take off before you know it. That's why stories without meaningful choices feel flat and forgettable. They're cars without engines. And the next time you watch your favorite show, notice how every unforgettable character moment stems from a specific want crashing into a real obstacle and the tactic that turns conflict into revelation.